It's Thursday. It's the 5th of August. Today's the day that we told them we were entering the Northern Territory, but we snuck up on them and came in yesterday. It's 8:48, 12 minutes to the hour of 9. Comfortable night last night. So we've actually, for the last 3 or 4 days, we've been pumping the fuel into the fuel tank. Done a lot of kilometres to basically make our way into Northern Territory. And we've still got 182, something like around about 220 k's, something over to get to the Stewart Highway. So we'll go to Barkley and we'll top up there, possibly change the gas cylinder. Yeah, so I was having a look at the map and I thought, right, I will work our way down to Alice Springs. A few things to look at on the way down. And then we'll go out and have a look out at the West and East McDonald's. Certainly at the Stanley Chasm and that sort of area, because I haven't done that since 2003 with the school team. And yeah, spend a bit of time around that area before, and by then hopefully we'll have been in the place long enough to make a decision as to which way we're going home. 40 kilometres to Barkley. We're rolling into Barkley Homestead. I stayed here in 2005 and it was a very different place then to what it is now, that's for sure. And there's a bit of a line up for fuel here, which is understandable, I suppose. Not that fussed about that right at the moment. Deep discount fuel today, 192.4. So we just filled up the spare tank, not the main tank. So that gave me another 44 litres with what I've got. It'll get us to the highway anyway. Well and truly. The road to the right's to Cape Crawford. And if I was complaining about the roads in Queensland, that one's not much better. So the next stop along here is the Stewart Highway. Then we turn left south towards Tennant Creek. But we might stop before we get there. .5 kilometres to the next rest area. So it's 186 to 3 ways and the Stewart Highway. I was just thinking this is the first time I've done this stretch of road, but it's not. 2005 we travelled from Tennant Creek across here to Barkley and then turned north and went up through Cape Crawford and up into Lemon Bight. I'd met a couple of guys here who were going fishing up there and they said, I talked about going up to Borroloola and they said, oh, you don't want to go to Borroloola, there's nothing there. And so anyway, I followed them up to where they were and they didn't talk to me again, but there you go. But went into Lemon Bight to the fishing area there and then on around the rest past Rover Bar and all that. So I've actually done that part of the Savannah way back 18 years ago. I only did Borroloola in 2013, and yeah, it's not a bad little community. Been in there a couple of times now. Now, I don't remember an awful lot about what this road was like, so we will find out. It really is interesting. There's a sign back on the road, probably 5, 7 or 8, 9, maybe 10 kilometres back. Pull over if sleepy. And have a look at the side of the road. There really is nowhere to pull off. And they're not providing stopping bays. The next rest area is still 20 kilometres away. It's crazy. Another one of these communication towers. I can't for the life of me understand why they don't put digital signal receptors on top of it. They're right across the country, they're already built. Rest area coming up, 500 metres on the right. For a wiener. People have already grabbed the spots around the thinking, what's he? Someone's set up further in as well. I don't know whether we're staying here or not, we're just having a look. So the 8th of August, it's a Sunday, and it's 9:47. I'm in no big hurry, I've been here for 3 nights. And supposedly it's 24 hours only. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, this morning I sort of woke up and the IndyCars resumed this morning, so it was qualifying. I had recorded that, so I've watched that, and figured, okay, well now we'll move on. Spent the last couple of days editing where I've been so far. Edited the first 15 days basically. Basic edits, you know, cutting and that sort of thing. So, yeah, editing a little bit of colour correction here and there, but the next rest area is about 60 kilometres on, and I'm thinking, well, I just might head on for that. But then again, I might go a bit further, but we'll see what happens. There is a water tank here. I don't know how good the water is. Not suitable for drinking. Yep, that's what we thought. It's the T&W bore. Gonna come either way. And we're on the road again. Over the 70 days to the end to Thursday, which was the last time we filled up, we'd averaged 138 kilometres a day, and it's also costing me around about $39 a day for travel, just for fuel. That's not including what's going through the generator, which is about another $6. But look at this, the generator as camping fees. I spent precious little on camping since I've been on the road. We figured for our $300 a week that we'd be able to average somewhere around about 720 kilometres a week at 5 kilometres a litre. I think that's the way it worked out. Well, we've been averaging well and truly over that per week, and averaging well under $300 a week for fuel. Well, it certainly has climbed the last couple of weeks because we've had a couple of big weeks of travel. So we'll just cut back on it. We can't get across the border until when was it? Thursday week anyway, at the earliest. So we'll just keep noodling along. We'll head down towards Alice Springs is the plan at the moment. Have a little bit of a look around there out the McDonald's. Catch up with a couple of things in town I'd like to look at again, the Transport Museum and anything else. I mean, I haven't been to Alice Springs for a few years now, so a number of years. There in 2003 and 2005. I don't know if I've been there since. I dare say the place has changed a bit. Okay, on with it. I know I harp on about it, but I try to have some thought for fellow travellers when I'm camping. So I camp as far away from people as I possibly can because I run a generator. I live in the caravan, that's my source of power. At home, you've got the SEC or whatever they call themselves these days, supplying your power to you. These people are on holidays. Oh, look, you got solar, you got this, why do you need this, why do you need that? Well, the fact of the matter is, as I said, I live in the caravan, it's my home. I do all my work in there, I do my business in there. So, to that end, I carry a generator. I try to camp on my own so that I'm well away from people. So I'm not annoying other people. So if I get stroppy because I've found somewhere and then someone comes and pulls up within 30 or 20 or 40 or 50 metres away from me, then it puts me on edge. It gives me a touch of stress that I don't need, because all of a sudden I have to consider them. Now this last rest area, for example, I went out and I picked a spot that was as far away from anybody as I could possibly get. Also, I thought. Meanwhile, people came and they all wanted their space as well, which is fair enough, so they're all parked with plenty of space. But when it comes to noise travels. So I try to be considerate of other people in that regard, even though I was there well before they were, and I was there for 3 days, as it turns out, 3 nights. So imagine I've got my generator sitting outside. Now, it wasn't turned on at the time. I charged the batteries up, I turned it off, I was working off the batteries in the caravan, and the batteries were down to the point where they needed to be turned back on again to bring the batteries back up. And I looked out the door and not 20 metres away from me, the length of a cricket pitch, there's a guy pulled up on the other side, and he's set himself up. And I thought, I don't get this. So I got outside and I walked around, and he wasn't anywhere to be seen. And I thought, well, eventually he was outside, and I stuck my head out the door and said, look, excuse me, mate, just a matter of warning. I pointed at it and I said, I've got a generator, I'm working, and I'll be running it probably till 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. Oh, he says, how loud is it? I thought, Jesus. I don't know, mate. I've never stood over there to listen to it. I said, however, I said, I'm working. I parked myself out here as far away from everybody as I could so that I wouldn't annoy anyone. And it'll be running till about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. And then I went back inside. 15 minutes later, he's moved his van. But I thought, geez, you know, the thing's sitting out there to start with. Now, if it's sitting there, obviously someone's going to be running it at some stage. It doesn't matter how bloody loud it is. Even the little Hondas, you can hear them. And the other thing too, of course, is that I'm not the person to tell him how bloody loud it is, because I'm half deaf anyway. So I don't hear it anywhere near as loud as what everybody else does. So there we go. I pulled out the coverage maps for Telstra and Optus. You have a look, and there's pretty much a thick band of green all around the country, right around the edge. Except across places like the Nullarbor, but there are little patches on the Nullarbor that there are signal there, and there's nothing up through the Kid River Road, and there's certainly next to nothing through the centre of Australia. The Northern Territory is mainly Aboriginal country. It's also a big tourist attraction. So there are people who live here, there are people who work here, truck drivers and the like, and other people who come out to service the tourist industry. And from my observations on the road in the last couple of months, 2 or 3 months, there are tens of thousands of people, more than that, on the roads. Now, this has all been exacerbated by the COVID situation, but it's been the thing for years. Now, these people, and I take myself as an example here, pay the same amount of money to Telstra or to Optus as everybody in the city for their service. It's a subscription fee, and to the point whereby, okay, I'll give you this amount of money each month, you supply me with a service for my telephone. Now in the city, of course, they get anything and everything. In the big areas, they're well and truly catered for. Out here, no, it's terrible. The signals are mainly 3G, and they're in the process of turning off 3G, so that means they've got to upgrade to 4G, but there's so few and far between. Now this is 2021, so I would have thought that the communication aspect of things should have been fairly well equalised down a bit by now. They get worried about black spots for mobile reception in the bigger areas and the cities and that sort of thing. The Northern Territory basically is a black spot. There is nothing out here. Now the telcos, they make plenty of money. Oh, look, we cover 99% or 98% of Australia's population. Yeah, that's static population, but what about the mobile population, the moving population, the people who live in areas that are well and truly out of the way? Those people deserve to be looked after just as much as what their city cousins are, for example. The telcos make huge amounts of money off us. There should be a fund of some sort, or there should be a proportion of the profits they make that are directed towards upgrading and building a mobile network throughout the Northern Territory. Every rest area, to my way of thinking, that's designated rest areas, should have mobile reception available to them, even if it's only just local to that area. Now I don't know, I think the communities are pretty well looked after to a degree, but every community should also have mobile reception. Mines make sure they get it. So maybe it's time for the Communications Minister to do something about directing the telcos have got to start servicing these areas out here. They take the money off the people. They should also be supplying them with a service for what they're charging them. That's my opinion anyway. Communication tower on the right hand side. I don't know why they can't be utilised, I really don't. Look at the truck park coming up 400 metres on the left, and then a couple of kilometres further on is 96 Bore or whatever it is, rest area. Parking area for trucks at 73 kilometres, which would be Stewart Highway, I guess. Just reading a review on this, apparently there's a lot of flies, a lot of ants, but then again that could have been the time of year that they are in there too, of course. That's off to the left here. Up to the right. Oh, I see. Right in. There's a tank stand, no tank. There used to be a tank apparently, and the tap didn't work. This is not as open as the other place. Drain here on the right. I'd imagine that's probably full of water when it's wet. Hello, can we get around the end of that or not? Doesn't look like it. Yes you can. You'll be able to get around the end of it. There's a group of friends all there together by the looks of things. Little tracks leading off into the bush, left, right and centre. Yeah, you get a degree of privacy, but I think I would have preferred the other one. Given a choice. Rubbish bins to the right of us here. To 11. I'm not ready to pull over yet, but we'll just take a spin around and see what's here. Is that a drop toilet? Or is it a tank? Maybe it's a tank. Telstra cable under the ground but nothing through the air. Three ways, 71 kilometres. 2005 I left Alice Springs in the morning and I decided to travel out to the East McDonald's, I think it was. That's the Trafina Gorge, out that way. It was a beautiful day, just like this. Warm, 30, 35 degrees, something like that. Gorgeous day. Got out to the gorge and the clouds were starting to come in. So she got down and walked around the bottom of the gorge, and by the time I got to the top again, it was spitting rain. I looked at the the clouds, which way they were moving. They were going in one direction, but on the ground, the wind was blowing a different way altogether. It was actually funneling through the gorge, as I recall. Anyway, I went from there and I went on further out, and then I started heading down towards Old Tunga, and the heavens had opened in the meantime. After I got through Old Tunga and heading around back towards the highway on this dirt road, I was now travelling through something like around about probably 30 to 40 centimetres of water, 12 to 18 inches, and the road had been graded to a point whereby there were stiff walls on either side. Straight down the middle was just water. You couldn't see how deep it was or anything. To keep in mind, I was very green back in those days, and mind you, I still wouldn't tackle it today, not knowing what was there beforehand. So I turned off the track and met up with another couple, and we agreed to follow this track across to the Plenty Road. A couple of times we sort of got off the track, got lost a bit. I got stuck between a couple of gullies. I had to turn around and scratch the back of the car, and that scratch is still there. I know where it is now. It happened. The other couple had a GPS, so we followed that through. We eventually reached the Plenty Road, and then it was from the Plenty Road, which was bitumen at that end of things, onto the Stewart Highway, and then it was a matter of going north and trying to find somewhere to stop for the night and maybe grab some food, because I'd had nothing to eat. It was dark. It was night time. It was night time as we travelled across country to the Plenty Road. And I pulled up at opposite the Three Ways store, which is at the end of this road, and the car park was empty. It was 11 o'clock at night, 11:30. The store was closed, everything was shut. And I was tending it for that particular trip, so I just set myself up and laid across the front seat of this. Not the most comfortable. When you're 6'2.5" or 6'2" or whatever it was, 183 centimetres or whatever it was at the time. And it's nowhere near that wet inside this vehicle. It wasn't the most comfortable night's sleep, with the gear levers and handbrakes and things stabbing you. I woke up the next morning, I had 2 or 3 semi-trailers around me, and I'd never heard them come in at all. I'd died. And this was pre-sleep machine days too, so you can imagine there was probably a fair bit of racket going on inside the car. So that's my experience of Three Ways. I seem to recall one of us did a tyre that night too. I think it was them. I can't remember. Or was it me? I know we jacked out and pulled out the exhaust jack. Looking back on the video told me nothing as far as that was concerned either. And that video is an edited version anyway. I think I'm going to have to drag that video out and recapture it all. Okay, so there's been a steady stream of trucks going the other way, pretty much like the one that was in the middle of those three there. Towing caravans, big caravans. So I've been trying to figure out what they would be. Some more of them. There you go. Truck carrying the goods. Caravan is the living quarters, and of course it's showtime, isn't it? and they're all travelling together because they've all left the showgrounds at the same time. That's my thinking at the moment. It's the travelling show. So the next one's possibly in either Camberwell or Mount Isa. And the third communication tower that we've seen this morning. In 104 kilometres. And we're 30 kilometres short of the Stewart Highway. And suddenly we have signal. Well, as it turns out, the signal here basically, I jumped in the caravan to see if the signal booster was working. It's not picking up anything. It was flashing red this morning. At least it's now flashing between the green and the amber, so that means that it's looking for a signal. And we are on top of a rise, so that might have something to do with it. Certainly nothing to do with that TV or with that communications tower alongside of us. Made 2 phone calls, so like I said, we're right on the cusp of the signal. That's the thing, the way digital signals work, is they're there and then they're gone. Like rechargeable batteries, I suppose. So we're back on our way again. It's 13 minutes to 12. Just a couple of kilometres out of 3 ways at the moment. Some of the Tennant Creek advertising hoarding is getting up. Changed the speed limit back to 100 kilometres now. It's been 130 up till now. Actually, this road is not bad. It's been pretty good. Been able to handle everything I've thrown at it. Three ways to the left or 3 ways to the right? Sure seems whichever way I go, it'll be the wrong way. There it is up there to the right. That would be right. So in 2005, I pulled over to the left-hand side here. Seemed to be a lot more room then. Okay. Okay, we're leaving the 3 ways. Been here for a couple of hours now. Had lunch, done all the social media stuff, caught up with what's happening in the world, and it's just about time to hit the road. So that's the cellar. Nice and squeezy in there. And then according to the map, that's the kitchen. The homestead and living quarters. Here the storyboards tell the tales what it's all about. Shut the doors behind you, but if you want to see inside, you get the key from the Battery Hill Visitor Centre. They've shut the front doors, but the back doors are open to allow us in. That's the telegraph station. And then there's the butchers and the blacksmiths. Everything's locked up. Can't blame them for that. There's no one out here looking after the place. Except that someone left this door open. Meat room in there. And I'd say that chopping block has seen better days. This is the blacksmith shop. Fire just there. No, it's not a barbecue. This is the blacksmith shop. Spoke to a couple of ladies in there who said to me that, I asked them about the pebbles, and they said that it really wasn't all that worth going in for, but yeah, they got there was no signage, a little track around them, walking track, and that's it. So we will turn left and head towards Tennant Creek. Now that's what I meant to do. Change the map on the GPS. Okay, so we're heading towards Tennant Creek. It's 24 minutes past 3. That's the Tennant Creek. Yeah, I don't know whether I said this before or not, but I need to go back and check on the video, but I believe that that place is not in as good a nick as what it was back in 2005. It is 16 years older, but back then, as I recall, they actually had people looking after it. Now, of course, it's the wrong time of the year as well at the moment, but it was same time of the year when I was up here before, and that grass patch in the middle, or that bit in the middle, the place was actually lawn, as I recall. So it'll be interesting to see what I actually find when I have a look at the video later on. Okay, as it says, this is the Tennant Creek Telegraph Station. This little shelter here is where the meat and everything, the veggies were all kept. They cooked them, and this was the smokehouse where the meat was cured. And this is the homestead and living quarters. Shop and the smithy and the butcher all in one building. This is inside the butcher's rooms, including the old chopping block, the cool room, hanging rails, and his little back room. And of course the blacksmith shop. It's been a bit warm working out here, I'd suggest. And through there, of course, the meteorological box, from whence they would check the rain and the wind and temperatures. And of course the patch of lawn just to keep everybody entertained. So it looks like we work our way through a sand hill here, or a range of hills or something. Lake Marianne out there, to the left. The problem is now you don't know what is Aboriginal land, what isn't Aboriginal land, where you can go, where you can't go. Makes it a little more difficult. Some parked over in the bush over there, on the side of a hill. Apparently there's the rodeo out at Mount Isa this weekend, which I recall now was correct. And was it this weekend or next weekend? I'm not sure. I know there's something happening somewhere because we made comment on it, and that's probably where all those trucks were going with the caravans on this morning. Traffic congestion at BP and IGA shops, it says. Let's see, take caution. Ah, there's the IGA, I see. This is how it's opened. It's a matter of finding somewhere to park the caravan. Everything's well barricaded. Northern Land Council. Jackson's Bar. Chinese takeaway. Car sales and repairs, or needs repairs. Fergus Avenue Travellers Rest Area. Bird and Fuel's not there anymore. Order Pro. All shut it up. Bank, oh well and truly shut it up. Memorial Drive, post office. Set of traffic lights. Cleaning appliances. School's got fences around it. Is that to keep the kids in or to keep the kids out? Do the Memorial Drive thing a bit later, I think. There's the police. Battery Hill information centre to the right, caravan boats to the right. This is for sale. Everyone stationed. Doorbells, hotel, motel. United Chemists, everything's just all so shuttered up. Mind you, that's happening all around the country, but sorry mate, I don't have an automatic winder, it's a bit earlier than that. Can I pull it, can you park around behind the IGA with a caravan or not? Yeah. There's room there, is there? Thanks very much. Entry only, so that's this way. Some facilities here though. This is for AFL, but they've got lights and obviously for training at night time. Everything has got fences around it. Fences don't stop anybody, but Greyhound Australia. There's a bus depot there. Circus Reserve Travellers Rest Area. I would say that's where I've just been. Okay, holding on the side of the road there, windows smashed in, just sitting there, number plate's gone. It's 28 degrees centigrade according to the thing outside the post office. Even the Aboriginal hostels have got fences around them. Port Chope 113, Hull Springs 505. There's the cemetery over there. You will have noticed I didn't do a back street run other than to go to the dump point. That's not for any other reason, the fact that it's getting late and I've got to find somewhere to stop for the night. There's plenty of room along here to park, but the thing being is, of course, I'd dare say it's a no-no at the moment. Someone's gone off there. Stop, no entry. 130, the road wants to improve a bit. Number 5 bore, now we could have actually stopped there. Let's go back and have a look. I had a look at that bore site, but there are roads leading around it. They're not marked on the map. They are leading around it, and tomorrow morning's Monday morning. What happens if everybody turns up to work and I'm parked in their spot? Wouldn't go down too well, I don't think so. Discretion's the better part of Bella. Park over there just off the road. Plenty of space there. I think that goes into someone's bore as well in there. This could just about do the job, I think. If you enjoyed this video, there's over 200 more just like it on this channel. Subscribe and hit the notification bell and we'll let you know when our next video is available. If you liked this video, hit the like button. And if you weren't that impressed, please don't hit the dislike button. Instead, tell us why, so that we can do something about it. Thanks for watching.